Good evening, I'm Tracy Shilshi and you're watching the news tonight, where you can get the day's top stories from India and across the world. But first up, the headlines. Delhi gears up for election day tomorrow. It's a triangular fight for the 70-member assembly between the Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP and the Congress. The Planning Commission's replacement, the Niti Aayog, starts its innings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi brainstorms with economists on the general budget and ways to boost the economy. Is the JDU heading for a split in Bihar? State Chief Minister Jitin Ram Manjhi, all set for showdown with his party, calls parallel legislature party meeting on the 20th of February. No death sentence for Nitish Katara's killers rules the High Court, but hands over life imprisonment to both accused, Vikas and Vishal Yadav. And the government refutes US President Barack Obama's charge that intolerance in India would have shocked Mahatma Gandhi. All right, less than 12 hours to go for Delhi to vote. All arrangements are in place, claims the Election Commission. Here's a look at what's at stake tomorrow in what has been a keenly watched contest.
The stage is all set for 70-member Delhi Assembly. With campaigning coming to end on Thursday, now the eyes are on tomorrow. It might look like a triangular fight between the Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP and the Congress. But the real contest seems to be between the two Chief Minister candidate Arvind Kejriwal and Kiran Bedi.
After nearly a year of President's rule, Delhi is all set to elect a new government. The polling process will begin at 8 a.m. on Saturday to seal the fate of as many as 673 candidates. Elaborate arrangements have been made to conduct the polling process. A total of 95,000 government officials have been roped in for election duty. More than 1 lakh security personnel have been deployed across the city, especially in and around the polling booths. Polling will take place at 12,177 polling stations, of which 191 have been marked as highly critical.
This because different forces are coming there. From CAPF, there are different CAPF, different CRPF, BSF, CISF, and state armed police is also coming there. They have also been briefed by their respective senior officers.
For the first time, Delhi voters will be inked by using a brush and not a stick. The Election Commission says ink applied with a brush will dry faster but won't erase.
ब्रश का यूज करके अगर आप उसको लगाते हैं तो उससे वो 1/3 टाइम में जो है वो ड्राई हो जाता है. तो एक नया प्रयास है और ये वैसे वोटर्स के लिए हमारे लिए बड़ा जिसके बारे में थोड़ी भी शंका आपको हो और जो थोड़े उत्पाती हो सकते हैं उनके लिए ये बहुत कारगर चीज है.
In 2013, Delhi got a fractured mandate, with the BJP getting 32 of the total 70 seats and Aam Aadmi Party finishing a close second with 28 seats. Debutant Aam Aadmi Party formed a government with the support of the Congress Party but resigned within 49 days of rule. This time around, it will be interesting to see if this year's mandate allows majority to any of the key parties. With Pranav Goswami and Anu Diwan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Also, elections to 4 Rajya Sabha seats will be held tomorrow in Jammu and Kashmir. 7 candidates are in the fray, including Congress's Ghulam Nabi Azad, presently the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. The BJP, PDP combined and Congress and the NC are fighting the elections under seat-sharing arrangements. Given the party position in the assembly, the BJP, PDP combined is likely to win 3 seats. Azad, with the support of 28 members, can win another term if 2 more members support him. 7 seats are shared by smaller parties and independents. All right, now our big focus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today brainstormed with economists in the maiden meeting of the Niti Aayog to find ways to boost the economy. He also sought suggestions from experts on the upcoming general budget. The NDA government had set up the new panel, remember, by replacing the 65-year-old Planning Commission this year.
The National Institute for Transforming India, popularly known as Niti Aayog, saw its chairman, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, preside over its first meeting on Friday. He invited views from expert panel on issues regarding the economy. Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramaniam, full-time members Vivek Debroy and VK Saraswat, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha, Planning Minister Indrajit Singh and 4 ex-RBI governors were also present in the meeting.
These suggestions mainly related to the high growth roadmap on which the Indian economy has to be put. These were also in relation to the financing of infrastructure, how to attract investment, how to boost domestic savings.
The meeting also discussed suggestions with regard to effective implementation of several flagship schemes of the government.
State of the agricultural sector particularly was discussed. There were also suggestions with regard to effective implementation of several flagship schemes of the government and how poverty levels can be brought down.
The first meeting of the Governing Council of the Ayog will be convened on Sunday. The Governing Council comprises of State Chief Ministers and Lieutenant Governors of all Union Territories. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, to take this forward, let's speak to Santosh Mehrotra, who's the Professor of Economics at JNU, joining us from the capital. Santosh, thanks so much for speaking to us. Give us a sense, really, of what we can expect from the Niti Aayog, considering the fact that it's taking over that 65-year-old planning commission.
Well, it's early days yet, because the functions of the Niti Aayog have not been specified in any official document. The statements that we have seen in black and white are rather of a general nature, and this meeting that took place today was essentially a meeting of economists. It was not a meeting of the Niti Aayog. It's in preparation for the budget. Normally the Finance Ministry organizes these with economists. Historically, that is what has happened. But this meeting with economists happened to be organized in the Niti Aayog. The real work of the Niti Aayog is going to begin only on Sunday, when all the chief ministers arrive, which is the first proper meeting of the Aayog itself, of the commission itself, as opposed to this meeting, which is really aimed at getting ideas from economists for the budget.
But by and large, what's the kind of sense that you're getting, considering that the Planning Commission was, an independent body? This time around, you got the Prime Minister himself who's going to be heading this kind of a body. Do you feel that as far as funding is concerned, as far as policies are concerned, they perhaps may be implemented better?
Well, again, we'll have to wait to see in that regard. By the way, as far as the Prime Minister heading this body, even the earlier Planning Commission used to be headed by the Planning Commission. He was the chairperson of the Planning Commission, and you had several members of the Council of Ministers, meaning the Central Cabinet, who were members of the full Planning Commission, which is the way it is this time around as well. The big difference, however, is that the Governing Council of the Niti Aayog consists of all the chief ministers. So all the chief ministers are coming and will be meeting for the first time in the Niti Aayog. So in some ways, this is the equivalent of what used to be the meetings of the National Development Council, the erstwhile NDC. I mean, that's really the comparable body in a sense. So it's a bit unclear whether that NDC, the erstwhile NDC, will continue to exist or not. It's perfectly possible that it will not, because the governance structure of this body is already consisting of the chief ministers.
So do you
in
think
addition, there will be regional councils that will,
Is the Congress right in criticizing that, renaming it is not going to change anything? The BJP is just trying to rename a particular body, but then, the work is pretty much going to be the same.
Well, again, I would say we have to wait to see because we don't know whether this body will have a financial allocation function. Please recall that the erstwhile Planning Commission used to make allocations towards centrally sponsored schemes, and then there were other allocations that were part historically of the Planning Commission's functions. Now, it may well be, and that's what it's looking like, that the financial allocation function has already passed to the Ministry of Finance, in which case this body would literally be mainly focused on policy issues as opposed to program issues. It's also unclear as of now whether there will be a process put in place for writing the 13th five-year plan, which would begin by 1st of April of 2017, which is roughly just over 2 years from now. So it's not clear whether we will still have a five-year planning process or not. It's early days yet, because after all, in all fairness, we should expect we would get answers to many of these questions and clarity on these questions only a few months down the road. After all, the first meeting as it is taking place only day after tomorrow
on Sunday is when, yes, that's right, yeah. All right, thanks so much, Santosh, for joining us and giving us an idea of what we can expect. Have to wait and see is what you're saying, and that's what we'll be doing. Meanwhile, let's take you through more politics, and the crisis in the Bihar JDU could see an interesting twist in Delhi tomorrow. Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi is arriving in the city, of course, for that meeting of the Niti Aayog, but then reports are indicating that he could be also meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi separately. Manjhi has signalled a revolt against his party leadership in Patna by calling a JDU legislature party meeting on the 20th of February.
His party wants him to quit, but Bihar Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi is holding firm. In fact, he is challenging his own party president Sharad Yadav's move to call a meeting of the JDU legislature party on 7th February. Manjhi is expected to be asked to step down at the meeting.
एक विधायक दल की बैठक होने वाली है। कैसा विधायक दल? वही विधायक दल जिसका नेता हम हैं। बैठक बुलाना चाहिए हमको। बैठक बुलाया गया है माननीय शरद जी द्वारा, जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष है, उनको कोई अधिकार नहीं है।
JDU General Secretary KC Tyagi, however, maintained that the meeting called by Sharad Yadav was valid.
तो राजनीतिक चर्चा के दौरान श्री मांझी जी ने स्वयं ही शरद जी से आग्रह किया था कि विधानमंडल दल की बैठक बुलाई। उनके आग्रह पर ही ये बैठक बुलाई गई। पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के पास असीमित अधिकार पदक है, जिसके तहत श्री शरद यादव कोई भी निर्णय पार्टी में लेने के लिए अधिकृत है। हालांकि उन फैसलों को 1 महीने के अंदर राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी से मंजूरी लेना आवश्यक है।
Waiting for a chance to wade into the crisis is the largest opposition party in the state. Senior BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi said all options are open and they will take a decision at the right time.
देखिए, बिहार में अब ये साफ रूप से प्रकट हो चुका है कि बिहार में राजनीतिक अंतर्कलह जो वर्तमान शासन दल में है और जिस प्रकार से बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री ने बयान दिया है, मुझे लगता है कि सरकार की मर्यादा भी समाप्त हो गई है और जिस प्रकार से आंतरिक कलह के परिवेश में जो चर्चाएं हो रही हैं, इसमें बिहार की 10 करोड़ जनता पूरी तौर पर प्रताड़ित हो रही है।
Manjhi's revolt could mean that in the event he is sacked, the government would be in crisis, since many of his cabinet ministers support him.
बिहार की जनता ने लालू जी का खेल पहले समाप्त कर दिया था। अब नीतीश जी की सरकार है मांझी जी के नेतृत्व में, फिर भी नीतीश जी का खेल अब समाप्त हो चुका है। बिहार की जनता परेशान है और मैं मानता हूं कि ये सरकार जितनी जल्दी जाए उतनी ही बिहार के हित में होगा।
The crisis was precipitated on Thursday when Manjhi refused to attend a meeting of party MPs and MLAs at former Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's house. Party leaders denied their purpose was to remove Manjhi.
ये मैं इस बैठक में कौन को क्या बुलाया जा रहा है इसकी जिम्मेदारी वशिष्ठ नारायण सिंह के ऊपर है। उनसे मेरी बात नहीं हुई है, मैं तो बोल करके अभी आई रहा हूँ।
Party leaders, including Tyagi, say Manjhi's removal had become imperative in view of his repeated controversial remarks. They also maintained that Manjhi was in any case a temporary arrangement since the 2000 mandate in Bihar was for Nitish Kumar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Senior Congress leaders have resolved to speed up the ongoing membership drive of the party. General secretaries and the party vice president Rahul Gandhi attended the Central Election Authority meeting held in the national capital today. Issues related to organizational elections, including the membership drive, were discussed at the meeting. As per the current schedule, the membership drive of the party is concluded by the end of this month, following which the process for organizational elections will be set in motion. The process will culminate with the election of a new party president by the year end.
आज मीटिंग रिस्ट्रिक्टेड थी, मेंबरशिप कितनी हो रही है अपडेट लेने के लिए और क्या करना चाहिए, जो अब चेयरमैन इलेक्शन अथॉरिटी ने एक अपडेट स्टेटस मांगा है।
In other news, the Delhi High Court today commuted the death sentences of all 3 convicts in the 2002 Nitish Katara murder case to life terms. The court awarded a 25-year term sentence to Uttar Pradesh politician DP Yadav's son Vikas Yadav and his cousin. The court also imposed a fine of 50 lakh rupees on them.
Spared the death penalty on Friday, the Yadav cousins were sentenced to 25 years of rigorous imprisonment. The High Court scaled up the punishment awarded to the 2 men earlier. Vikas Yadav, the Uttar Pradesh politician DP Yadav's son, and his cousin Vishal were sent to jail without remission for 25 years. Sukhdev Pahalwan, the third accused, was jailed without remission for 20 years. All 3 were awarded an additional 5-year jail term for destroying evidence as well. Nitish Katara's mother, Neelam Katara, however, expressed disappointment that the court turned down the prosecution's petition for capital punishment.
हमने मांगा था कि डेथ पेनल्टी दी जाए, जिसमें हमें आज भी विश्वास है कि इस क्राइम में डेथ पेनल्टी होनी थी, मगर माननीय हाई कोर्ट किसी वजह से वहां तक आके रुक गया है। क्या हमारे बात रखने में कहीं कोई गलती हो गई है या कोई चीज़ हम नहीं कह पाए हैं, उसके बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आगे जाएंगे।
On 2nd of April 2014, the bench upheld the 2008 trial verdict that sentenced the 3 to life imprisonment and termed the case as an honor killing. Vikas and Bharti are children of former parliamentarian DP Yadav.
हम लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट में दिल्ली उच्च न्यायालय की जो कन्विक्शन है, जो सजा सुनाई थी 2 अप्रैल 2014 को, उस सजा के खिलाफ भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे। जो आज ऑर्डर ऑन सेंटेंस आया है, उसके खिलाफ भी हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे।
Vikas, his cousin Vishal Yadav and Sukhdev Pahalwan are already serving life terms for abducting and killing business executive Katara. On the night of 17th of February, they murdered the son of an IAS officer because they were opposed to his relationship with their sister Bharti Yadav. With Ravinder Singh Shoran, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And still ahead on news tonight, we'll be getting international news, and also we'll tell you how the Taiwan plane crashed into the river 2 days ago.
साल दर साल देश ने देखा पहली बार राष्ट्रपति और उपराष्ट्रपति का चुनाव, 18 विधानसभाओं और लोकसभा का चुनाव, शानदार और निष्पक्ष कवरेज। सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Welcome back to News Tonight. All right, let's get to the latest on the swine flu situation across the country, which has actually claimed 5 more lives in Rajasthan today as the virus spread further inside the country. Rajasthan is among the worst affected states. Apart from 73 deaths reported this year, 437 others have been tested positive. In Maharashtra, 2 more people lost their lives to the virus, taking the death toll to 27 in the state. Nagpur recorded the maximum number of swine flu cases, with 113 being treated in different hospitals. Mumbai recorded 23 positive cases, out of which 4 people have died. In Gujarat too, the virus has claimed 9 lives in the last 24 hours, taking the toll to 62 this year.
Swine flu in Vizag district, as of now, we have suspected around 24 cases and we send all the samples to Institute of Preventive Medicine Hyderabad. 7 cases termed to be negative and 6 cases are positive. All the positive cases as well as suspected other cases also are fine. We started the treatment the moment it is suspected and they are doing well. There is no issue. We have sufficient quantity of availability of drugs, Tamiflu available in this one. We have isolation wards.
And now let's get you more updates from across the country in Nationwide. Thousands of people from the Christian community carried out a peace protest in Bengaluru against the continuous attacks on churches in New Delhi in the past few weeks. Candlelight vigil was also held and attended by hundreds of people. The protesters demanded protection from the government amid concern over rising religious intolerance in the country. At least 5 churches have reported incidents of arson, vandalism and burglary in less than a month in the capital. West Bengal Transport Minister Madan Mitra, who was arrested in December in connection with the Sharada chit fund scam, filed a bail plea today. The plea was filed by his defence counsel in the Alipur District and Sessions Judges Court. The matter will come up for hearing on the 11th of February. Mitra is currently being held in the Alipur Correctional Home. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao is in Delhi for a 5-day visit with a long list of pending issues to be discussed with Prime Minister Modi. One of the key among them is the demand for special status to the state. He is also expected to discuss the swine flu situation in Telangana. The Supreme Court has refused to entertain the petition of former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran and his brother Kalanidhi Maran in the Aircel Maxis deal case. The court told them that they could approach the Delhi High Court against the trial order summoning them as accused. And the Kashmir Valley continues to experience heavy snowfall which has affected normal lives. The temperature has plummeted to 0 and minus levels in several regions. However, the Met Department has predicted mainly dry weather across Kashmir over the next 24 hours. All right, now just days after his India visit, US President Barack Obama has again taken up the topic of religious intolerance in India, saying that the current situation in the country would have shocked Mahatma Gandhi. Take a look.
A day after the White House refuted suggestions that the US President's public speech in New Delhi, in which he touched upon religious tolerance, was a potting shot aimed at the ruling BJP, Barack Obama had this to say at a prayer meet in Washington, D.C.
Do more around the world.
He said, and I quote, "Michelle and I returned from India, an incredible, beautiful country full of magnificent diversity, but a place where in the past years, religious faiths of all types have on occasion been targeted by other peoples of faith simply due to their heritage and their beliefs, acts of intolerance that would have shocked Gandhiji." In the wide-ranging speech, Obama also touched upon the terror unleashed by the Islamic State.
We have seen violence and terror perpetrated by those who profess to stand up for faith, their faith. Profess to stand up for Islam, but in fact are betraying it. We see ISIL, a brutal, vicious death cult that, in the name of religion, carries out unspeakable acts of barbarism, terrorizing religious minorities like the Yazidis, subjecting women to rape as a weapon of war, and claiming the mantle of religious authority for such actions.
This prayer meet was also keenly watched by the Chinese, as it had the Dalai Lama in attendance, but Obama did not meet the Tibetan spiritual leader in exile. Though Obama did refer to the Dalai Lama as his good friend and acknowledged his presence in the audience.
A good friend, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama.
Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the NDA government was quick to respond on the US President's comments. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Home Minister Rajnath Singh emphasized that India was one of the most tolerant nations in terms of religion.
जहां तक धार्मिक सहिष्णुता का प्रश्न है, ये हमारे भारत की संस्कृति में अंतर्निहित है। दुनिया का एक देश जहां सभी सेक्ट के लोग पाए जाते हैं, वो भारत में पाए जाते हैं।
The best example of tolerance was sitting next to President Obama. That is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. When this statement was made, it's a part of India's tolerance that even he found it comfortable and India found it comfortable
to absorb him in the society here.
On to more international news. And Yemen's Shia Houthi rebels have announced a new presidential council in a move that could signal their formal takeover of the country's government. The United Nations said that it would not acknowledge the announcement made this afternoon, but the world body termed the announcement a unilateral decision. The rebels had earlier seized the presidential palace and key government buildings on the 22nd of January. The takeover prompted President Mansour Hadi and his Prime Minister to tender their resignations. Hadi and his cabinet are being held under house arrest by the rebels. All right, now the latest on the Trans-Asia plane crash that took place on Wednesday in Taiwan. It had lost power in both the engines, and the black box data of the flight revealed today that what went wrong with the aircraft moments before the crash. However, authorities say it was still too early to draw firm conclusions about the reasons why the engines malfunctioned. 4 more people involved in the crash died today, taking the toll to 35.
Both the engines of the Trans-Asia Airlines plane that crashed in Taiwan had failed. This has been revealed by the data of the plane's black box. Taiwan's Aviation Safety Council has said that the engines failed to produce enough thrust for 2 minutes after takeoff.
把1号发动机做了关断，到最后这段时间，刚才我们在 CVR 后有听到，组员在说要重新启动发动机 ，restart 要重新启动发动机的时候，这个时候1号发动机才开始有一些其他开始。
Meanwhile, the search and rescue teams retrieved 4 more bodies from the crash site on Friday.
复兴航空今日也会针对确认身份的罹难者家属，另外发放新台币120万元的丧葬补助费。那这个供家属运用。
Taiwanese Vice President paid his respects to the victims at a funeral in Taipei. He also praised the pilot who tried his best to steer the plane away from nearby residences before crashing into the river. Trans-Asia Airways announced $38,000 as compensation to the families of the victims.
大陆来台的家属陆续再来，我们也陆续在办理中。另外，丧葬补助费120万，现在已经开始发放。我们由今天在二滨跟相关的家属，还有大陆来台的家属一起做发放。
Investigators are to issue a preliminary report on the crash within 30 days and a fuller report within 3 to 4 months. A final draft will be submitted within 8 months and the full investigation concluded in about a year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now more news from the world in Global Buzz. Thousands of Jordanians took to the streets today to condemn the killing of its fighter pilot by the Islamic State group. Demonstrators walked waving the Jordanian flag to express solidarity with the pilot's family. The terror group released a video on Tuesday showing the pilot being burned alive in a cage. French President François Hollande and German Chancellor Angela Merkel are due to hold talks in Moscow to try and escalating fighting in East Ukraine. Ahead of their talks, US Vice President Joe Biden accused Russia of continuing to escalate the conflict, ignoring every agreement. Biden and the EU Council President Donald Tusk called for US-Europe unity over the crisis in Ukraine. At least 17 people were killed in a fire in China's Guangdong province today. The fire broke out on the top floor of a 4-story building. According to reports, 120 local firefighters with 20 fire engines joined the rescue operation. So far, 5 people have been rescued. North Korea has denounced sanctions imposed on it by the United States in early January. In its state television address, North Korea, in fact, criticized U.S. planning more sanctions against it. U.S. lawmakers introduced legislation on Thursday to broaden the sanctions by imposing stiffer punishments on foreign companies doing business with Pyongyang. The Boko Haram group attacked a town in Niger in a fresh attack. The attack on one of Niger's border towns was the second by the group on the neighboring country in the last 2 days. The militants killed at least 70 people in an attack in Cameroon on Thursday. All right, now let's get to the latest updates that we're getting from the ongoing 35th National Games. Satyendra Singh of Services clinched the gold in the 50 meters rifle 3-position event at the Games today. The silver medal went to Swapnil Kusale of Maharashtra, while Jain Singh took the bronze. Services also won the gold in the team event. Haryana and Uttar Pradesh won the silver and bronze respectively. Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Deepa Karmarkar won the gold medal in the women artistic gymnastics all-round event. She clinched 4 golds at the apparatus event, winning the competition in balancing beam, floor exercise, table vault and uneven bars. In men's gymnastics, Rakesh Kumar of Services won the gold in the men's artistic gymnastics event. Ashish Kumar of Uttar Pradesh took the silver and bronze went to Chinoj of Kerala, who won the bronze. Rakesh in fact won 2 gold in the apparatus event, winning the horizontal bars and rings. That's it for the Moment on News Tonight. Good night.